Hey, what's going on? It's Pika. It is Wednesday night, you guys. Calling in from Singapore. I'm looking out the window at the moment, and the sky kind of looks like a brown color. It's a little strange. I've always marveled at the fact that midnight sky looks brown out here. It's very strange. I don't know if it's because of the lights or what, but damn sure look brown. I don't know. Anyway, today was Deepavali here in Singapore, and most of y'all who celebrated actually went out and got dressed up, got all jigged up, dressed to the nines and everything, went to go see family, ate as much as you could possibly stomach, and just got to bond with your family, got to be with your family. And for that, I am so happy for all of you. In my house, it didn't quite happen that way, and that's okay. Some things will never be the same. Some things aren't meant to be quite that way yet, and maybe it's because I'm not ready for it to happen that way either. Yes, it was a public holiday, so baby girl and I were off today. We slept in, we got up, we had a lazy breakfast, and kind of cleaned up the house, and just kind of enjoyed each other's company. We did not go out today. We sent out wishes to family members, but we didn't have any plans. No one really asked us or let us know where if they needed us to be anywhere. So we kind of just winged it. We kind of just sat at home. And I'm not bitter by any means. I'm not upset about it by any means. But it is a little different because, I don't know, for me, Deepavali was my grandmother's house, Vende Kulambu, and Mean Kulambu. Just, her cooking and her love. It was her gravity that pulled everybody together. And since she's no longer with us, since my grandfather's no longer with us, since my mom isn't in the country, there is no gravity near me to pull everyone together again. And maybe one day I'll level up and that will be me. Maybe that'll be me one day next year, maybe the year after, I don't know. But right now, I'm not in a place where I can pull everyone together. But I will. That'll be a goal for a later date. But today, it was just me and baby girl. And it was okay. It wasn't bad. Very quiet. We watched Tamil movie, watched movies as usual. She origamied herself out today. And I actually got some work done. As you all know, I did set a goal for today. Unfortunately, I did not meet that goal, which is okay because I've been working on it. I started playing around with Photoshop yesterday, which I should have done a couple of days before now, but I was so frustrated by the end of it yesterday that I was like, you know what, should I even be doing this? Maybe I'll just use Fiverr. But I did tell you that if I didn't have a logo by the 18th, which is today, I will probably seek out some help and see if I can get it done that way. I know what I want. That's the good news. I have brainstormed, and I know exactly what I want. In my mind, I can see what it is that I want. And I'm hoping that it looks as good as I think it will. But either way, that'll be the first logo. I've been studying t-shirt companies for a long time. I've been looking at, trends. I've been looking at, I don't know, the most popular ones, the ones that, my son used to crave and beg me for. What made new t-shirts so cool, what made, those new releases so desirable to young people. Like, I've been looking at all that for many, many years now, maybe 10 years in the making at the moment. So I have a couple ideas. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. It's more than a couple ideas. I have a lot of ideas. It's written down in a book. I have them like all over the place. So, yeah, I have committed. I will go to Fiverr starting tomorrow and see if I can get some of that stuff done. In the meantime, I do need to source the t-shirts, and then that'll be on a roll. So goals going forward, Fiverr for the first logo of the t-shirts, source the t-shirts where I'm going to get them from, where I'm going to get them printed, how I'm going to get them to me, how I'm going to ship them out. And then, you guys, I think I'm going to just go ahead and do Shopify. I'm not still entirely sure if I want to do Shopify the whole way with the blogs and everything, or if I just want to add Shopify to the WordPress site I have existing. I did see there was a new pop-up YouTube video, like an update on the one that I used to create the website that I have, and I'm hoping there are some updates in there that I can use to upgrade my site. So that will be coming down the pike as well. As most of you know, tonight is Wednesday night in Singapore, meaning that in a couple of hours it'll be Wednesday evening for y'all, which means what? Periscope, right? So I have a Periscope show tomorrow. It'll be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm hoping you all will join me. I will be outside again. I'm actually really enjoying being outside. It's a different kind of feeling. It's a different kind of energy. I feel awake. I feel alive. I feel like I could really deliver some great content. So I will work on that and put out my Instagram post so y'all know exactly what I'm going to be talking about if you want to tune in or not. If you don't, that's totally fine as well. Obviously, the post is up. Once it's up, it's up. It doesn't come back down again. I don't take it down. It's on the Crown for Queen channel, which is a spinoff of the Crown for Success company. So you're more than welcome to join me there. You're more than welcome to ask me questions. I love it when y'all interact. Just don't do nothing stupid and ask dumb questions like, I don't know. Don't be a troll, okay? I'm just gonna put it to you like that. Just come in there with an open mind. Be honest about what it is you're going through. If you need help from me, if you want to ask me a specific question, fine. I am an open book. I have no problem answering you. But if you're going to be stupid about it, I will put you in your place. So don't do that either, okay? It's not fun. It's not fun for me, and it's not fun for you. I'm pretty sure of that. Today I want to talk to you about manifesting your life. And we've talked about law of attraction. We've talked about the circle of control. We've talked about your emotions and how they really, really are super important. It's the reason I chose emotional intelligence as the reason that the way that I want to coach. I want you to be able to manage your emotions because I believe fiercely that everything stems from your emotions. So for me, that's paramount. If you can control your emotions, you got this. You got it in the bag. Now, I may not understand all of the terms that Abraham Hicks and Esther Hicks talks about as far as the vortex and whatever else. I'm still learning. I'm still in the process. I mean, honestly, it wasn't but a month ago that I really actually sat down and watched The Secret, you guys. Okay? As strange as that is. Everything else is kind of innate. Everything else is kind of... I'm an empath. I believe in signs. I believe in intuition, So all of this is... I'm winging it, but it's good to know that a lot of the secrets and the things that Abraham and Esther Hicks teaches about the law of attraction are innate ideas of mine. Like, I know these things. It's almost like, when you read a book and you learn something you think is new, it's actually not new. It's almost like your soul recognizes this as truth and you're suddenly like, wow, okay, aha, that's the aha moment. Damn, I knew that. I should have known. I should have been putting that into practice already. Anyway, so let's get back into it. I want to talk about manifesting your life. Now, I spoke briefly about the fact that, Deepavali was very quiet for me. And to be quite honest, because I do own my feelings, it was quite a sad day for me because I was lost in a lot of memories of my grandparents. Because honestly, for me, y'all may take it for granted, you go through the motions, you know what to do already because your parents have been doing it every year forever. I didn't have that luxury, you guys. I mean, I sit here, I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook all day or whatever, just checking my feed and seeing everyone so beautifully decked out to be with family, flaunting the fact that you have a big family, that you're eating, that you're doing this, you're doing that. It's awesome. I love it. I'm really happy for you guys. For me, that's a big deal to me because I didn't have that. I didn't have that growing up, okay? So what y'all take for granted, I actually really ache for. I don't care about the food. It's another excuse for us all to get together, and that was basically what the gravity of my grandmother was. She pulled everyone into orbit around her. I mean, there wasn't a relative on my mom or my dad's side of the family that if they've traveled from far and wide and happened to step foot in Singapore, the first call was to my grandparents' house, and they were like, Achinti, is it okay if we stop by? Can we stop by and see you? And it wasn't even like, hey, can we come by and stay with you? Or can we come by? Can you feed us? It wasn't like that. It was to pay their respects, you guys. They were like, can we stop by and see you? Because, we're here. We want to make sure that we, stop by and spend some time with you as well before we have to go. And that was one of those things I marveled at. I've only been back in Singapore for about 4 years. And before that, for 20 years, okay? 20 years I was in the U.S. And in the U.S., while I was there, it wasn't like Deepavali was a big deal. We didn't celebrate like, y'all celebrate here. It wasn't a public holiday, okay? We were lucky if anybody even allowed us to take off or whatever for Deepavali. We were lucky if people wanted to get together for Deepavali. Yeah? So what y'all take for granted, I ache for. I miss my family. This house is bigger than I need it to be. And I'm so used to having so much family in the house, and it is quiet. It's quiet and loud at the same time because that silence is deafening to me. Okay? Anyway, yes, today was a sad and long day. But part of me feels like, okay, I have myself to blame, because thinking about this holiday coming up, this is actually the first year in the 4 years that I've been here that I wasn't working on Deepavali. Before this year, I was working in timeshare, and it just so would happen that, my manager maybe overlooked it or didn't think about it twice, or there was like a shortage of people. And I'm the first one to volunteer if someone calls out sick. I'm the first one to volunteer to pick up a shift, to cover a shift, to make sure that, the team is running well, to make sure that the guests are taken care of, to make sure that there isn't a shortage and that everyone suffers. If there's a shortage on the team, you guys, you don't understand. When the workload is divided and, displaced among the existing team members, if one of them calls out, that doubles the workload for everybody else. And that means that you get cranky faster, you slip details, you forget about things, you don't put in 100% because you're trying to cover someone else's shift. So anytime I got the chance, I covered another shift. If I had to pull a double, it wasn't a big deal to me, because at the time, obviously, I had a maid, I had a mom, I had a brother, I had grandparents. My baby was taken care of. So if I had to pull the extra shift, that means extra money for me, right? So I'm going to do that. That's just who I am. This year was not like that at all, because it's a tuition center. They're closed on a public holiday, and guess what? I got today off. And while I did not celebrate Deepavali the way that everybody else did, I did get to just chill at home and really just take care of my baby and spend some time with her. I don't know if you understand. As a single mom, I feel very guilty about taking a parent from her. Okay? It was my decision to leave him. It was not my decision not to keep in touch. I mean, I try, and I still don't get, he doesn't answer. But I mean, there's a time difference. I could go on. I could give him excuses all day long. He knows how to contact me if he really needs, and it's just really a matter of him reaching out. But I do make sure that I try, and I try in front of her because I need her to see that, I'm not keeping her from him. That's not what I'm doing at all. Okay. Where was I going with this? As a single parent, I do get guilty. I feel guilty sometimes that I don't have another parent to help balance out the energies in this house. I mean, if I'm upset, and she has nowhere else to go. It's kind of like she has to deal with me being upset, and she has to wait for me to stop being upset, and then she can go back to being herself. And she really is affected by my energy. It's not that I'm trying on purpose to throw her off balance or anything. So as much as I love these, family get-togethers where she gets to be around other family members, she gets to see how other parents are, other family members are, what a married couple looks like, acts like, behaves like, what other parents treat their kids like. She needs to see all those things, whether it's in a school setting or whether it's in like a family get-together or whatever. So those things are important to her. I need her to see those things so she can ask me questions and we can talk it out. We can make sense of our situation. I mean, I'm winging it, she's winging it. We're trying to make things, to make the best of things as much as possible. So, like I said, as a single parent, I get nervous sometimes. I feel guilty sometimes that, I've put her in the situation, unnecessary suffering or whatever. But for the most part, she doesn't seem to suffer, but we do miss those family get-togethers. And part of me wonders if, because I feel that lack a lot of times, I don't know how much you understand about lack mentality. When you focus on what you don't have, you tend to attract more of what you don't have. And I wonder sometimes if, me looking at the situation as I'm by myself kind of manifested a reality where I actually am physically by myself, even for these, for these family get-togethers or whatever, where people kind of just, overlook the fact that, hey, I exist. I'm just down the street, you guys. But, I guess I'll just be here by myself. So manifesting your reality, manifesting your life, that's actually something that's in your hands in a way, okay? It depends on how much of this you understand, how much of this you believe, how much of this you're willing to accept. Now, every one of us is in our own level on our, how do I say this? We're at a particular stage in our journey, okay? The journey obviously is to enlightenment, for us to fully realize the fact that we, as physical energy beings communicate with each other on an energy level. And for us to be able to do so in a positive manner where we impact the world around us, the energy around us in a positive way, we need to be able to control a couple things inside us. We need to understand ourselves very well. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about, knowing yourself. If you know yourself very well, everything else kind of comes easy. Making decisions becomes a lot easier to you. You don't have to juggle as many things. You don't have to think about so many things. You know what works with you and what does not. What you are willing to put up with and what does not. What you're not willing to put up with. So in that regard, it's like once you know yourself, once you can control yourself, especially that ego, you guys, it becomes a lot easier to keep upbeat, to keep positive, to focus on the things you do want, and thereby attract more of what you do want. Unfortunately, the ego is what plays a part in that lack mentality. It's like, I'm important too. Why didn't anyone invite me? Yeah, I have an ego. I'm sorry. I'm still working on it. But for the most part, I realize, knowing is half the battle. The other half is actually putting in the work. So I know that I probably manifested the situation myself. I also know that it is in my hands to control what it is I think about, what I obsess about, what plays in my head over and over again. Excuse me. But on the same token, as much as I know, it's also quite difficult from moment to moment to control what it is that goes on in your brain. I don't know, Let me put it to you this way, okay? If you were to punish a child and say you have to sit in timeout for 5 minutes, that 5 minutes will drag on for what seems like an eternity because you're waiting for the time to go by, right? Whereas if you're playing a video game, let's say you're playing, I don't know, what do people play these days? Shoot. Okay, let's go back a little bit. Let's say you're playing Mortal Kombat, okay? And 5 minutes will go by in a snap. You won't even notice that 5 minutes went by, right? So when you're doing something that you enjoy, the time kind of slips by. You're not paying attention to the time. But when you look at that damn minute hand go round and round, you're waiting for the time to go by. You're waiting for someone to call. You're waiting for the contracts to come through. You're waiting for the doctor to call you back. You're waiting for whatever it is you're waiting for. That's when your mind runs riot. That's when that time seems like it takes forever to go by. And that's when it matters the most. What you think about matters the most then, unfortunately. And I have not yet mastered how to control what it is I think about at that point. I understand distraction really helps. It does. But if I could actually get myself to focus on the distraction, that would be great. For the most part, here's what happens, okay? Let me just walk you through like a typical, let me distract myself so I don't think about whatever it is I'm missing at the moment. So I will be on social media, finish posting my Instagram post or whatever, make sure it's uploaded to Facebook, make sure the tags are correct, make sure I didn't make any spelling mistakes. I do go back and edit if I make spelling mistakes. I answer comments as much as I can if I understand them. If I don't understand them, I may just like it but not answer back. So go through all of that, and then I'm like, okay, fine, I can't look at social media anymore. I have this to work on. So for example, I'm actually working on a challenge, a 7-day challenge that I want to offer to the public and see if there is enough of an interest to continue with me. So I've been plotting my 7-day challenge, working out what it is I want for each day to be about, and I got through to day 5. Okay, 7-day challenge. I got all the way down to day 5, planning out exactly what I want my audience to work on, how I want them to, basically the recipe for how to get to where I want them to be. Like, you start at this particular place, you start analyzing what you're going through, whatever, blah, 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 and then by the 7th day, you should have a better handle on your own awareness of your feelings. That's basically the end goal, right? So I got to day 5, you guys. I got to day 5, and suddenly I look up at the clock and I'm like, you know what? I haven't checked social media in a while. I should go check and see what so-and-so is doing. Oh, man. And then after that, I couldn't pull myself away. I could not pull myself away, and it was like, okay, this person hasn't showed up in I don't know how many hours. Let me see if they're here. And okay, they haven't showed up here either in so many hours. Okay, let me see if they're over here, because obviously I'm following them everywhere, right? So when I can't find them there, I go to WhatsApp. Are they online? No, they're not. Okay, fine. Was my message delivered? Was it read? I'm obsessing about this stupid stuff. And then when I've checked everything that I could check, what do I do next? I look for signs. Oh yeah. It's quite the whirlwind at that point. So then I go through, for me, the signs need to be random. I can't go to a particular place and know exactly what I'm going to find there, because then it's not really a sign. It's like I'm directing myself to what I want to see. Okay? So it has to be random. So if I play, one of my daily mixes from Spotify, because they auto adjust every so often, right? It's depending on how much music I listen to, which I consume a lot of music on my commute. So when they auto adjust, when I hit play randomly, I take the first song that comes up as a sign. It's very stupid, I know, whatever. It's what I do. I'm being totally honest with you. This is 100% just raw, unfiltered stupidity. So when the music works or whatever, if it works, great. And usually I can go back to what I'm doing. But if it doesn't work, the next thing I do is go to my explore feed on Instagram. And I'm looking for tarot cards with a meaning. And as much as I want to... I know what I want to see, but obviously it's random, right? So it depends on what actually happens to pop up. The first few cards that happen to pop up. And lately, I have had a lot of let go, retreat, focus on yourself, just a lot of those cards, and it makes me wonder, it makes me get nervous, because honestly I'm dealing with a twin flame situation. Okay, I've had several times where the card pops up and reminds me, yes, this is a twin flame situation, and yes, this is what you've been waiting for, blah blah blah. But the other thing is, in twin flame relationships, you have a separation period. It's a given. Okay, it's a given. There's always a separation period. So right now, I'm in a separation period. So when I get these cards that say retreat, let go, focus on yourself, it kind of pisses me off, because it doesn't tell me what that other person is feeling. If that other person is okay, if that other person is, I don't know, whatever it is I'm trying to look for is really stupid. Okay, so basically I go off on a rampage, which is not good for me. It's kind of undone all of the work that I did do while I was focusing on my distraction. You get me? And because I am doing a lot of marketing on social media anyway, the fact that social media will pull me back into this stupid rampage situation is more than I can bear, and it's harder to break than I thought, okay? I'm getting better and better. Honestly, I'm getting better and better. And just when I think I've got it under control, that person will pop up and message me. It's very strange. But anyway, so what I'm trying to say is I can manifest whatever I want, as long as I can hold on to the feeling of what I want. Okay? They say you only need 6 to 8 seconds to hold a thought in your mind for about... No, actually, it's 17 seconds. You need to hold a thought in your mind for 17 seconds in order for it to manifest. And it's not going to manifest immediately, obviously. It's not going to suddenly materialize in front of you. But it will kind of come down the pike. It will be in your pipeline of things that you've been manifesting, which also includes all that stupid negative stuff you've been thinking about. Does that make sense? It also includes all that stupid negative stuff. So as you go back and forth, I don't know if you understand this, but I was doing my course, the Robbins Madonna's training, right? And they're talking about this infinity loop that people get stuck in. Okay, so very quickly, let me just explain. The infinity loop basically is this, it's almost like a pendulum, swing from one extreme to the other. Okay, where you're either super sad because you're feeling a lack of whatever it is, you're missing something, you're upset about something, you don't have something, you feel very sad about this situation. And when enough time has passed and you suddenly don't feel like being sad anymore, you suddenly switch to anger, like, the fuck is this person mean even? I mean, do I even need this person? No, I don't. Why the hell am I spending all this time on this person? Why am I? And it swings from one extreme to the other. So as you get tired of one emotion, you kind of swing to the other extreme, and you kind of justify why you feel that way too. So unfortunately, I also get caught up in that infinity loop. It's very hard to break out of. And from what I understand from the training, there are 2 ways to break out of it. Some people turn to substances to numb whatever it is they're feeling. The problem with that is when you push down and use a substance to numb what you're feeling, once the substance wears off, the feeling comes back. It rushes you. It bum rushes you. So it's not like you actually exit the infinity loop. You kind of put it on pause for a little bit with that substance. Now, the other way to exit it, obviously, is to distract yourself, to actually get busy doing something. I mean, it could be raking the lawn, it could be sewing clothes, it could be cooking, it could be anything. So as much of a distraction as you can get doing something that is productive, okay, that's the best way to break out of the cycle, because then you're not focusing on the thing that you want or don't have. You're focusing on something else entirely. Sometimes what you need, according to Esther Hicks, is to ignore what it is that is your biggest problem and focus on something else so that the universe has time to kind of fix it. You know what I mean? If you can't get to a place where you are feeling that feeling of having accomplished what it is that you want, okay, so for all intents and purposes, let's say that I'm looking for this twin flame relationship to work out. What I need to be thinking about, or what I need to be feeling, is the fact that it's already done. It's finished. I've got it. I've got what I want. And I'm feeling that feeling of having what I want instead of focusing on what I don't have right now. Does that make sense? So if I can't do that easily, then obviously I need to not think about the opposite, which is going to manifest the opposite. So if I can avoid thinking about the lack of whatever it is that I want, then I can better manifest the life that I actually want. Does that make sense? So, this is why I chose emotional intelligence. In order for you to know yourself, you have to pay attention to your emotions. Those are the signs that you're looking for, actually. When you talk to someone, when you come into contact with a random stranger, and you know this from your own experiences, I'm sure. You can come into contact with a random stranger, and everything will start off be like, hi, how are you? Okay, that's great. What are you doing here? What brought you to the Grand Hyatt? How can I help you? Is there something you're looking for? Any of those types of conversation starters or whatever, and it's innocent enough, there's nothing wrong with it. For example, let's say, somebody tries to hit you up in your DMs, right? They're saying, hey, and you allow the message to come through and you say, hi Beck, how can I help you? And then they start off by saying something stupid like, oh, send me nudes, or, oh, you're so gorgeous, your husband must be so proud. Like dumb stuff that has nothing to do with nothing, and you either have the choice of blocking them, all right, or meeting that stupid low energy with some low energy of your own. You could tell them off, which actually doesn't help the situation, doesn't make it any better, actually makes it worse. So when something irritates you, when someone comes into a direct conversation with you somehow, okay, there's always an exchange of energies. So if they're respectful, you feel respectful back. If you're already irritated and you don't have time and they're asking you for directions, but they're failing to understand what you're saying, you get irritated, right? And you just want to walk out of there. So for you to actually pay attention to your emotions and what triggers your emotions, that's the kind of intelligence that I want to drive for. I really want to push for people to really understand what it is that your body is trying to tell you, what your soul is trying to tell you, because you get irritated for a reason. You get upset for a reason. You get scared for a reason. Now, fear is a little tricky because sometimes that's your ego playing tricks on you. Fear creates doubt. We already know that. Action cures fear. Action cures doubt. We know that too. But why you suddenly feel afraid, that sometimes has to do with that inner dialogue that you're playing inside your head. And sometimes there is a legitimate reason there's a danger involved where you actually legitimately have to be afraid. It may be history repeating itself, like where you find yourself in a situation with a person, a character that you've come into contact with in a different situation before, where that character turned out to be dangerous. So you see warning signs in the way they talk to you. You see warning signs in the way they obsess about you or they come close to you. They don't have a sense of personal space, stuff like that. Those things will create fear, but that's real danger of fear, not I'm afraid of getting on Periscope because I don't want people to make fun of me. That's different. Does that make sense? So what I want to drive for is how people understand their emotions, because once they understand their emotions, manifesting your life becomes easier. Manifesting becomes a lot easier. Yes, you can create the life you want. You can change your stars. But in order to do that, you need to understand exactly who you are and what you're capable of, and then move from there. You can't have this big ego and think, yeah, I'm the best of everything because no one's ever challenged me and I've never met anyone better than I am. You can't come in it like that. You really have to be brutally honest with what you can and can't do. I know I can do graphic design if I have the patience to sit down and teach myself. But right now, I have so many projects going on, I don't have the time or the patience to sit down and teach myself. Right? because it's not for fun right now. It's for a purpose. So it's not going to be one of those things where it's like a self-discovery kind of educational experience. It would be something because I have to get it done because no one else is helping me. So in that regard, I won't be able to do the best that I can. I have to be honest with myself. This won't be the best possible work. I will probably still tinker with it and play with it on the side, but it won't be for something that I have a deadline on. Emotional intelligence is key to manifesting your life. I hope that made sense tonight. Anyway, I better get going because I have other work to do before I go to sleep. No rest for the wicked, y'all. But I will holler at y'all tomorrow. So don't forget, keep an eye out for my Instagram post on the topic for tomorrow's Periscope. And I hope you will join me. I will be outside again. I'll try and pick a really cool spot to sit down and talk to you guys. And yeah, I'll catch you then. All right. Till tomorrow. Bye.